Homa Bay is, as a county, is endowed with so many natural resources and attraction sites. We have 13 counties in the western region, but Homa Bay is the one with the most attraction sites. In Homa Bay, we have 8 sub-counties, and the 8 sub-counties in our county, all of them have attraction sites. We have the mythical Simbi Nyaima, Lake Simbi Nyaima, where you can see the story, the mythical story. Then you also get to see the flamingos.
Simbi Nyaima is a small alkaline crater lake located a few kilometers from Kendubay township in Homa Bay County. The lake is famed for its ancient volcanic origins and prehistoric sites that make it a must-see in Western Kenya's safari tourism circuit. The lake is a magnet for local and international visitors. The cultural tales of its formation, narrated under the cover of one of the most beautiful sceneries in the world, is an intriguing explorer's experience. According to geological records, the crater lake was formed about 6 centuries ago. The depression is the aftermath of volcanic eruptions, but to the locals, the lake's origin is different. A tale is told of how greed and arrogance among communities living in the region led to a violent storm when an old woman seeking shelter sought shelter and refuge and was denied. A large depression appeared where the village used to sit. This depression became Lake Simbi Nyaima.
Simbi ni jok manodak ka ne iluongo ni Kawaswa. Mama moro nobiro ka, en mama manolil mane dum. Niluongo ni Anyango Nyargwasi. Jaduong' moro ne nitiere ka. Ne en gi ute 3 mag monde. Kech nochakore in the year 1715. Kuom utegegi, 2 ne ji madhe kong'o. To achiel ne ok tim nade, ne ok madhe kong'o. Koro mama ni kano biro, ing'e ni nodonjo e dala mokwongo, to oyudo ka jodongo madho kong'o. To penjo jogo yawa, ok urwaka uru. Kech nodenyo bende, nolil be. Jogo riembe ni aika, iti ya kanye. Ochako dhi e dala mar 2, oyudo ka ji madho kong'o. To penjo jogo niya, yawa dang' urwaka, ukonya. To jogo kone ni ya kanye. Ne giriembe o girwake. To ka koro dhi e dala mar 3, to oyudo mama moro gi nyithindo 2. To penjo mama, dang' irwaka? Mama no noyie rwaka. Kare kirwaka to miya chiemo. Mama notimo ne kamano, nomiye gik mane odwaro go te. Kato penje ni to chwori ni kanye? Okone ni chwore ne yie kuma gimethe gimadho busia, ne en kong'o mane chwako chon. Kato kone kare dhi luongna gane obi ane ira ka. Kama mecha owuok odhi ir chwore. Okone chwore wendo moro luongi dala kucho mondo wadhi ane idhi winj wach maber. To kone chiege ni mama mobiro kacha. Kone ni an ok abi, an pod ametho gi jodongo wetewa. Oduogo nyiso wendo ne cha ni an ok obi, en pod otimo ang'o? Ometho gi jodongo wetege cha. Mama no para. Kare koro aori mogik. To boneno gima biro timore. Dhi ane mar 3 mogik, kodhi mar 3 mogik. Chuoro kone paki chak duoka kendo. Nokawo kom nyaluo. Iwinja? Man gi tiendegi 3 mogogo chiege cha. Dogi jok mane metho ka bende konyo go chiege nikech noketho negi ang'o? Mor. Iwinjo? Ne gin e starehe. Nogo chiege nyaka joka be go chiege. Nogo chiege kweli. Ka chiege dok dala neno weno chane ya mama an omiyo goyi kama. An omiyo timi kama. Bas in kotamre ni ok obi. Weya gibiro neno gima biro timore negi. Koro samo chako wuok. Yiengni mar ka osechako yiengni. Piny oseluoko kite. Iwinjo? Koro koth ne chwe. Jomoko temo no idh yien, jomoko temo no idh dero, ok timre nade, ok nyalre. koth nochwe. Rombe, gwen, dhok, punda, kila kitu nonimo ka. Emomiyo iluongo ni Nyaima, Simbi Nyaima.
The lake borrows its name from the name of the village Simbi and the Luo term Nyaima, meaning something that is sinking and covered by water. Locals believe that the lake's waters have medicinal powers and cures many diseases. Religious sects such as Legio Maria flock to the lake periodically for body and spiritual healing, even though the smell from the lake can be sensed 40 kilometers away. An interesting ecological phenomenon is currently underway in the lake. Flamingos, which had long domiciled in lakes like Lake Nakuru, Lake Bogoria and Lake Natron, are for reasons which continue to baffle researchers, transforming Lake Simbi Nyaima into a new home. Every year, the lake plays host to migrating birds. The flamingos first visited 5 years ago. A few visited and stayed at the lake for a week at the start of the 2 rainy seasons and left. But since September 2020, during the rainy season, the migrating birds have not left. They have made the lake a permanent home. For the last few years, their numbers in the lake have increased. But since their return to Lake Simbi Nyaima during the last rainy season in September last year, they have never flown back. Their numbers are increasing, and it seems like the lake is now their permanent home. Over the past few years, the government has earmarked the lake as an important tourism site. The road infrastructure is greatly improved, and the location is being marketed as the place to be for hospitality investments. Today, it takes less than 30 minutes to drive from Kendubay to Lake Simbi Nyaima, and only 1 hour to drive from Homa Bay town to Lake Simbi Nyaima using the Homa Bay Kisumu Road.
We are privileged as Homa Bay to host the biggest shoreline of Lake Victoria. Of the 5 counties which host Lake Victoria, Homa Bay captures 80%. That brings in the word Homa Bay. Now where we are is actually at the shores of Lake Victoria. As you can see right behind me, there are the Ruri Hills, there are the Gembe Hills the other side. Across, you are going to get Tumbita, Rusinga Island and Fangano. When you get to the other side, you get to Asembo Bay. On the other extreme end, you will get to Kendubay. And these were at some point very well connected in terms of sea transport. You would get through the Kenya railways, get to Kisumu Paya, then you get the ships coming all the way to Kendubay, to Homa Bay, and then Mbita. Of course, we are also connected. When you go the other side, we have the Sori and Muhuru Bay. That means you are able to access Tanzania from where we are. That puts Homa Bay in a very unique position. And when you're also here, you're able to get to Uganda, the Entebbe across here. That puts Homa Bay in a very unique position, so that even when you are talking about the lake transport, we are actually the hub that is able to serve all the East African areas from Homa Bay. And that puts us a very unique position to host all the tourists that may travel from all over. And we believe that once the lake transport is functional, then Homa Bay is going to be a beehive of activity, both in terms of logistics, in terms of tourism, in terms of transportation, in terms of goods and services. Yeah? And I think that is going to make it one of the best destinations to plan about when you want to go for a holiday. To bring the word from the tourism sector, I call it a virgin county with endless potential. And this is the vision that is being espoused by the current governor, Her Excellency Gladys Atieno Nyasuna Wanga. She has brought rigor and vigor in terms of work. First of all, by creating a serious paradigm shift on the way we look at service delivery. So that in Homa Bay today, the citizen is at the center, at the core of the administration.
We are taking a path of service delivery, of accountability. You cannot provide services if you cannot be a good steward of the resources that we get as a county. So we are looking seriously at reforming our public finance management, ensuring we seal any loopholes for theft, dealing with governance issues strongly so that we are on a path for growth. Only because you cannot grow unless your governance is right.
Everything that we do as a government is at the core. The citizen is at the core. And that's why when we're talking about tourism, we are looking at how are the stakeholders going to be involved, because this is their issue really. Ours as a government is basically to facilitate and to give and create an enabling environment. Fortunately, as I speak, I'm also in charge of trade. Tourism goes hand in hand with trade. So we want to see a very vibrant, and that's why I said we want to place Homa Bay as the hub. It's called logistical hub, and that's critical for us.
If there is investment in our peers in Kendubay, in Homa Bay, in Bita, in Fangano, there'll be a lot of traffic, water transport, and they'll be taking cargo and taking passengers as well. So the other thing is you know, as we were discussing, we were saying Homa Bay is called Homa Bay. Homa Bay. It's a bay. Yeah, it's a bay, which means it's a lakeside town that's supposed to have, you know, a bay, a place where you go actually and see that you're a lakeside town. So that's another priority that we have, that we are in a lakeside town. There must be a lakefront that people can actually go and just enjoy the lake as the ships arrive and as they leave. So we have an elaborate plan along those lines.